But with that being said, it is 3:05 Eastern, so let's go ahead and get things started. I want to start off by saying thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy Wednesday to spend it with us today. We are going to go ahead and power you up for summer success. Before we do that, though, a few housekeeping things. Please make sure you keep your microphone on mute and your camera off for the purposes of recording. For those that are looking how to make the screen bigger, there are 3 dots next to the red hang up button on your Google Meet. And you can go ahead and you can either change the layout or put it in full screen so you get a better view of things. So what are we talking about today? We are going to be talking about some new features, including demographic descriptions, a simplified refund process, and then we want to go ahead and touch on point of sale best practices and tracking inventory. As we know, it's summertime, and a lot of people are using point of sale for concessions at the moment, or are about to be, I should say. So I am Andrew, and I will be your grade A guide today, and I will be your moderator and helping answer the questions. Jen is going to be our point of sale principal, and we'll be giving the presentation today. As I said, I'll be helping answer questions. For any questions you have on any of our materials today, please go ahead and post it in the chat box. I'm going to go ahead and send out the email address here in a moment. Because for any other non-material related questions, go ahead and email our amazing support center at support@recdesk.com. You can call us also at 800-325-7391. You'll get myself, Jen, or another person of our great team here. They'll be more than happy to help you out with whatever questions you have. That being said, Jen, are you ready to take it away?
I am.
Righty.
And just so that everyone is aware, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and I think Andrew is as well. This way, when I do my part of the share, it just takes over a bigger part of the computer. And as a reminder to anyone who is sharing your screen and sharing yourself on video, please take this opportunity to shut your camera off. This is recording, and we will be recording your face on this as well if you continue to share your image. So please remember to shut those off.
Great reminder. Thank you, Jen.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get things started with 2 of the new features that we've added for programs. So the first one I want to get into is the grade restriction. Now I'm going to get you excited by showing you the program name here, but when it comes to grades, we actually need you to make a stop first on your admin tab and then under settings. The reason we need you to do this is down here at the bottom, we've already preset grade settings for you all. Now this is going to end up being a default, but we highly recommend that you update this information to be whatever your district is. So if I click on edit, I can say the age that kindergarten starts and the month and the day and save that. What that does is it'll automatically identify based on the member's age what grade they should be part of. Don't worry if it does put them in the wrong grade because of some situation where they were held back, moved forward, or maybe they were moved to the area and due to the way that the grading system worked, they happened to get moved up. Anything like that, you can make manual adjustments. And then you want to make sure that you set the date that grades roll up. For a lot of you, this is probably going to be the graduation date. If you were here in the beginning of the conversation, we made the joke. Up here in Connecticut, I put June 12th because that's pretty much the last day for all the super fun half days that we have to do here in Connecticut to end out the school year. So make sure these 2 items are set up. Then on the program, you're going to be able to, while building, under demographics, select the grade, and then set an enforce date. Now, please know the enforce date can just be the day that the program starts. The only time that the date may need to be taken into consideration is if the grades can change during that time period. So if they can roll up to a new grade, make sure that it's set to the grade that they need to be in by that day. So if after the roll up, they need to be in second and or between second and fourth grade, this is how it needs to look. We will get into the other piece after, just to clarify. And now I can show you restrictions on the community, but here's the great thing. If I go to register a participant who is not in the right age, I get an error message. I'm only going to receive the correct message when the correct age participant who's in the right grade is going to be signing up. Remember, it works the same on community. It's not going to let them sign up somebody who is not in the right grade, so long as you set the enforce dates. And you'll be able to save. And I'm going to leave this item in my shopping cart because I'll show you the additional feature that we added for by month for ages. And then we'll check both of those out together. So for age restrictions, in the past, we previously had it set for whole years. We've added a new feature for the ability to do months as well. So in this example, I was doing a baby swim class. So I have 0 years because I want them to be between 3 months and 9 months old. So I have to put my 0 zeros and my 3 to 9 and make sure that I set my enforce date. And just to clarify, if you have grade restrictions that work with or complement or in any way, shape, or form need to communicate with age restrictions as well, you can set up both. You can have grade and age restrictions to make sure anyone who signs up is appropriately meeting both of those settings. And again, I'm going to show you where when I register, if I choose somebody who's the wrong age, it's not going to let me sign them up. It's only going to go away if that participant is the right age. Now, I'm getting this message because I did already sign my member up for this program. So we're going to pretend we didn't see that and just check out anyways. Oops. Now, here's some other cool things that have to do with the grade and when it comes to the age. If I go to my child one's profile, I just kind of cheat clicked, by the way, by going to the invoice. I can see right here what grade they're in. And I also have a message that states that this person's grade was manually set. It was not automatic. If I go to my young adult, it has a, ooh, that one was adjusted. There we go. Sorry about that. This is the message that will appear if it's just guessing what grade they're supposed to be in. So it's 2 different messages, which is great. So it's an easy way to distinguish, but we'll have grade. For babies, when it comes to their ages, it's still going to, oops, I clicked on adult. It is still going to list them as being under 1 while showing this. And you'll see that for adults and for children under the age, minimum age for kindergarten, that no grade is going to appear. Now, before we move on to some of the other new features, do we have any questions?
I do want to take this moment to remind people that if you do have questions, please go ahead and type them in the chat. And then, Jen, the only question we have so far is what happens if somebody overrides a grade and puts, first grade instead of kindergarten? What happens when the grades roll up at the end of the school year?
When you manually adjust the grade, it's going to roll up based on your manual adjustments. So if somebody happened to be moved from kindergarten to first grade, maybe their parents just decided to put them directly into first type of situation. If that type of situation occurred, then the profile is first grade. So whenever the date would occur that the rollover would occur, that's when that person will go to second grade. So just make sure that it actually aligns with the schedule and it's not if somebody's coming in saying that their child is fully skipping a grade, just ensure that you set it up so that rollover happens appropriately.
Great. Thank you, Jen. We are ready to move on to the next topic.
All right. So the next feature that we're going to go over is called simplified refunds. And this is a really helpful addition to our system that many of you have requested just something to make this as easy as possible. When you have somebody who signs up for a program, especially when they paid in full for that program on a single payment, now when I go in to cancel them, I don't need to worry about doing the refund first because after I cancel them, it's going to provide the next steps, including issue refund now. Now, this is the message I wanted you guys to see because this is actually a little warning. This invoice, the payment was used for 2 different programs. The only time you can't just issue a refund right away is if the payment is connected to multiple items. We just do this so that you can make sure that you go to the invoice, go to the payments tab, and ensure that you're only refunding the correct amount for the one program. I think that was flag. Now, this action is going to not only be available in programs, but it's also going to be available in your memberships. And if I go to my members list of my membership, I can see that this is my one member that did pay. And if I go and I edit the membership and I cancel this one, because this payment is only connected to this one item, all I have to do is hit issue refund now. And this was a credit card. So as you can see, my credit card option is here and I can automatically refund back to the credit card. And I did also do a reservation payment just so I can show everyone what those steps will look like. If you have a reservation that you need to edit an occurrence or cancel an occurrence or cancel the whole thing, now if I go through and cancel the time slots, see how it's yelling at me? It's basically saying that I can't adjust it until I do a refund. Well, canceling the whole thing anyway. So instead of taking more time with this, I'm just going to cancel the whole reservation. This area gives me that good reminder so I can go to the invoice. If on reservations you do refunds, then you would just go to the payments tab, select the payment, and process the refund. Now, do we have any questions for simplified refunds?
Jen, the only question we have involves just refunds in general. Can you refund a credit card on the same day if you take a payment?
So here's the catch. You absolutely can refund to a credit card same day, but what you cannot do is refund a partial amount to credit card same day. There is a lot of very good reason behind this. Just to clarify, a lot of the reason that we tend to bring up is that with almost all the processors, if you do a same day partial refund, the processor will treat the entire transaction as a void. And that's outside of our hands, so we don't want that to happen. So we did put measures in place to try to prevent you from seeing this. If you are ever trying to break out of this, please don't. You will void the entire transaction, and we cannot bring that charge back.
Great. Thank you, Jen, for clarifying on that. Another question on a refund here. Could you show us how to go back in and close an invoice, say after refunding a security deposit back?
Of course. So this one did not have a security deposit, but we're going to go ahead and we're going to play with it and do a partial refund via household credit. Normally, with reservations, you'll see a line item that says security deposit. Please mind me, I did not have that, so I'm just going to refund $60 and pretend that that was the security deposit. After you do your security deposit refund, I always recommend that you go to the invoice and that you select actions and you mark this invoice as closed. Now, a lot of people ask me why I recommend this versus going in and editing the amount due to be less or removing the security deposit value. Well, the reason is if you ever get audited, some of those auditors like to see how much security deposit was initially charged versus how much was collected. And sometimes that makes them very frustrated if you've brought everything back down to zero, because while the financial reports show the money in and out, they like to see it on a person by person basis. So this stops seeking payment from the customer and stops seeking payment from, for you all on your invoice list, but it provides the history that is very necessary for audit situations.
Great. Thank you, Jen. Jen, are there any extra steps on refunding the credit card processing fees besides checking the box off?
No, there is not. However, we're going to let's add some star asterisk for this. If you charge a credit card and then need to refund the person on the same day, we all know that those circumstances come up sometimes. Life happens. If that happens, don't check that box off, because if you do a same-day refund, it voids all of the transaction, and that includes the processing fee. So what instead we recommend is we don't recommend the processing fee be returned. And I understand that sometimes for security deposits, that can be a very touchy subject. And if that's something that your organization needs a discussion for, we can do that specifically for you, just to get some clarification on what's going on there. But that is all you have to do. Just be aware that when you refund security deposits, if it is greater than the amount of money you collected for the day, the processors tend to pull funds from your account.
Great. Thank you. Oh, go ahead, Jen.
I was going to say, I'm using the word tend because obviously all of you have different contracts with all those different processors, but that's just a general safe rule when it comes to the world of financing.
Great. Thank you, Jen. If you want to go ahead and move on to point of sale, I'll keep answering questions in the chat here.
Thank you, Andrew. All right. So point of sale. This is an area that some of you are already using. Some of you are starting to use. Some of you are already getting that summer knocked off, and you're just wanting to make sure you did everything that you can to make sure it works as successfully as possible. If you're not using this and you're making yourself frustrated in another way, I hope this can help as well. First, on your point of sale tab, I always tell people to start with locations, because this is going to be where your point of sale is located out of. So I've got my 3 locations here, and I can just click add location. These are from your facility list. So if you have a station that is just for point of sale, you can always add it to your facility list. Just make sure you uncheck the boxes to show the facility on portal, because that becomes a little unnecessary. Now, if you have this, but you don't see view registers, there's a reason for that. I have what's called a a cash drawer system that is turned on right now. That means I can have multiple registers at a facility. So think of this as the main register. I could rename this and I can call, that could be admissions or that could be pool. I can add another one in it and this be my actual admission one. And I can sell different items or have different stations. These different registers are awesome to have set up if you have different cash drawers, because then I can distinguish between admin's cash drawer when they're collecting ticket sales in the front versus the main register that's selling all of the snacks, the goodies, the t-shirts, all of that stuff. And on top of it, I do like to show this off, item history. Item history within the location after you've assigned items. This one doesn't have as much. Was it kayak storage? Yes. This is going to let you run a certain time period. So if you want to see how many items have been sold, your revenue, you'll be able to come all the way down here and then go from the bottom right all the way up to total revenue to copy and to paste that into your into Excel. Now, to open and close a register, you go into your point of sale, you choose your location, and then you choose your register. So you can see right here, I'm opening it. This should be a true cash balance. So if I have a random amount of money in my cash drawer because somebody did not provide finance with the exact change to leave me with just $150, I can enter that value. And then regardless of my sales for the day, I know I'm only doing one right now, I can then go into point of sale actions and I can close this register. And you'll see that this total is going to be the amount of cash that I've collected plus the amount of cash I'm saying I started my drawer with. And I know that's a frustration for a lot of places, especially if, they try to do the math separately. Now, for your point of sale users, if they are a point of sale shift manager and they close their shift for the day, and they do this when they hit close register, it's going to be a nice and easy thermal printer style receipt for this shift information. So they can print it out right away to put all the cash into the blue bag or whatever color bag you guys have for your deposits with that statement. So you get all of your shifts and your cash all in the same piece. And inventory. This allows you to track inventory much better. As you can see, some of these items have inventory numbers to them and others do not. The reason that when you add an item, you can't just add inventory is because sometimes an item can exist in multiple places. So if you're selling soda at 5 different places and it all goes to the same revenue account, then you can do one soda item for that unit price and assign it to multiple locations. And as you can see down here in the bottom, I have some history going on. This is going to show you a history for sales as well as items going in or out. So if you wanted to say start your season off with 0 inventory and let it go negative as you sell items, you can go in. You can click on manage inventory, manually adjust, and because this one I'm trying to bring to 0, I'm going to add 5. You also have the ability, I keep hitting the wrong button, I am so sorry, to transfer inventory to another location. So this one has 50. If I wanted to split it evenly between the 2 locations, that's how easily I can move those items. Now, as you can see, we've got all of this history going on down here. There's a lot of information that's being tracked here. And hardware. When it comes to point of sale, hardware is by far one of the biggest questions that we get asked about. I'm going to go right to our support center so I can just show a little bit of this off. Under our point of sale tab, we have an article right here that has to do with the thermal printers and cash drawers. Because I know that many of you are going to be looking for thermal printers and cash drawers. And we have all of the step-by-step guides. There is an article with which we do say right here, before you start, see which thermal printer and cash drawer work with RecDesk point of sale. The reason this is important is we really only have these items that we can guarantee work with RecDesk. If you have your own items, we can't guarantee they will work. That's not to say they won't. You obviously have the opportunity to fiddle with the equipment yourself and to use our guidance to kind of get an idea as to how it might need to be set up. But these are the ones that we can guarantee. So this is an article right here, and it includes the thermal drawer as well as thermal printer and the cash drawer. Make sure you follow all of the steps to set that up as well. For those of you who also have a heavy use point of sale system, if you're scanning, if you have a lot of items that can be scanned because they're soda, chips, things that already have pre-existing universal barcodes that are associated with them, when you're adding items in, scan that barcode into the SKU, because then your staff at point of sale can also use a barcode scanner and they can just scan the items in. I will also note for those groups that do have large point of sales like that, sometimes what some groups have also done is they've created a printed barcode sheet for just quick scans for like quick sales. I make the joke of like bananas in a grocery store having a very quick button that everyone knows to press. That type of an idea. Now, before I get into the one complicated piece when it comes to point of sale, are there any questions?
Yes, Jen, we can do this now or we can do this later on if you think that'd be better, but could you show everybody how to potentially use a cash drawer and a thermal printer for like a program registration?
Oh, of course. I'm terribly sorry. I forgot to mention this. I'm just going to go to the Money tab because this is really the best way to show this off. Regardless of where the payment has come in, whether it's through point of sale, for a program, membership, facility rental, anything. As long as you get to this screen in RecDesk, under point of sale actions, we have a print thermal receipt. Please note, your thermal printer has to be connected in order for this to print on a thermal printer. And if it is connected, the cash drawer will likely get triggered as well, as the entire setup for the thermal printer will also trigger the cash drawer to be opened as well.
Yes, thank you, Jen. And just to reiterate that, the cash drawer actually runs off the thermal printer. You cannot run just the cash drawer without the thermal printer. So if you buy the cash drawer, make sure you buy the thermal printer as well.
Yes.
Thank you, Jen.
Now, the sole complicated process, and I'm going to just start by saying, under resources, we have under helpful workflows, an awesome video for credit card refunds on point of sale. This is the only part of point of sale that can be a little bit frustrating. Our point of sale system is designed to be used for single-use sales. So it's not often you're really doing refunds for point of sale, but when they do occur, if they are a credit card, please note there's a couple of steps that you'll need to do. First, you need to go to the payment outside of point of sale and hit Issue Refund. Select credit card. Don't forget to put in your reason for refund and process now. I'm going to hit Go to Payment because I need to go to this refund right here. This refund is going to have a reference number. It will have a real one, I promise. This is a 0 because I did the payment on the same day, so it technically voided it in the system, as you see by this note. But that's okay. This is information we want to see. After you copy this column, hit Edit and void this refund. Before you guys get scared, this is the only time that I'm very okay with you guys doing void, so long as immediately after voiding that refund, you guys go to the point of sale. Change point of sale actions to process return. Choose your item. Continue. Credit card manual, and you can paste that note right on in here. In fact, when this is a real reference number, you can even pull that information up into this reference number area, and that's going to make it so that all of the reporting financially is going to go to the appropriate GL code. It'll return the inventory appropriately to the right line item and everything else as well. So those steps are to make finance happy.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. We appreciate you showing that. We have no new questions at the moment. So if you want to move on to the next step, we are good to go.
All right. So as many of you probably know by now, thanks to the emails that have gone out, we have released the Copilot app, which is for you directors. It is only available on the on iPhones. There we go. It is only available on iPhones at the moment. So please know that for your organization. And when you guys download it, please know your short name is, whatever it is before the .recdesk.com. So on my example right now, we have this URL of training.recdesk.com. So on the app, my organization is training. It's not whatever I've listed as my true organization name, because we all know some of you have some super fun long Park and Rec names. So it's just whatever that short name is right there. And then it's the same information you use to log in from your director screen. Please note, the people that will not have access to the app right away are going to be your point of sale users. So your point of sale cashiers, your point of sale shift managers, or your check-in attendants. And that, clarifying that, I'm talking about people who have these specific user roles right here. The view onlys will have access to view. Associates, assistant directors, and directors will also have access as well. Now, I'm going to pop up a video that I pre-recorded just because it is a little laggy to do a meeting on my phone and show it. I'm so sorry about that. So I'm just going to go over everything as it pops up. So this is when you first log in. It's kind of like your dashboard. So you can scroll and see your recent registrations, reservations, memberships, and member profiles. And then there's the search tab. The search tab is going to let you search by members with all the filters that many of the filters that you're already used to seeing. And then facility reservations is one of my favorite because it goes in order. So it's going to be something that's really helpful for those of you who need to pull out your cell phone and see reservations in date order. As you can see, you have all your other items, but the cool thing with programs is you're going to be able to click on the schedule tab and take attendance from here. So as you saw, the take attendance pop up, a little bit different than how instructors see it right now, but it's nice and easy to choose who you want to be part of this. And then we have the CRM Plus tab. If you've got tasks assigned to you, they're going to be listed there. And any notes that are also listed for you will also be mentioned there. This is the Flex calendar. It is a day-by-day type of view just for ease. And you can click through by days, or you can use the filters. And then there is a settings tab, just so you're aware. That way it's a shortcut to take you to your organization and your community page. And that is a brief preview of the Copilot app. I am going to just pause and make sure I say a few things. Number one, there is going to be a really big power up that'll get much deeper into that Copilot app on June 26th. I promise you all will get a notification and another invite specifically for the app. And anybody who has used it, if you have any ideas or enhancements that you'd love to see, please send those enhancements to support@recdesk.com. We'd really like to gather that feedback from you all for a few months before we make any big new changes to it.
Yes, thank you, Jen. And once again, as a reminder, that email to request enhancements is support@recdesk.com. Alrighty, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and open up for questions at this point. Please go ahead and type your questions in the chat. We are still recording, so please do not unmute your microphone or turn your camera back on. But if you guys have any questions, Jen and I will be sticking around for a few minutes to help answer those.
I do see one question that I'll just make sure I clarify again. That app is only available for iPhones at the moment. Once we get a release date for Google Play, is Google Play Android? Google Play,
Yes,
Android, Windows, all the other options, I'm just going to say across the board, the other cell phone options, we will absolutely let you know.
Yes, thank you, Jen. Jen, would you mind expanding a little bit on what the calendar view looks like on the app? I know we don't have a visual to go with that, but if there's anything you could add on that, I think that'd be very helpful for our audience.
Hang on one moment. It is making me log back in again.
Gotcha.
Just so everyone knows, that same 2-hour login applies to the app as well. Make sure if you have not logged in a while, that you don't get upset when it makes you log back in. So the calendar for a quick view on your phone, it is going to go day by day, but I promise right now I'm scrolling all the way on the top of it to pick any day in June. If I touch the word June, and let me see if I can fast forward in this to get to the view I'm looking at, and I'll explain it better. Okay. This row right here, I'm able to scroll through the entire month that I am in. So if it was the first, I'd be able to scroll all the way over and select any of the dates just by clicking on it. This is a cell phone view, so in order to save everybody's eyes, it is one day at a time. The filter up here, though, does help for being able to filter to make it even less items.
Great. Thank you, Jen. We appreciate you showing us that. Just answering a few questions here in the chat. That sounds good.
Now, I know this is also really a blown up image, but size-wise, you have to remember that most people's cell phone screens, I can actually do this. That is how big my iPhone is, and I have one of those Max Pro type of iPhones, so it's really big as it is.
Yep. It's a great representation of that, Jen. Thank you. And as Jen said, there will be another power-up in the future with a bunch more information on the app. So we will have more information at that point. Any other questions right now on grades, point of sale, simple refunds, anything like that?
Anyone just have any happy questions they'd like to ask while we're in this meeting too? That may be associated but not specifically for this. That's okay too.
Jen, I do have a question. I don't know if you have this set up on your training site or not, but we do have a question on a facility reservation. If you are able to look into that. Question is, if a member is changing a paid reservation to a facility that costs less than the original facility, how would they go about doing that?
So first, let's set that up real fast. Let's set up a reservation. I know I fly through this, everybody, but remember, I do this every day. No, it's not shelter. Who has a cost? Kayak. So in the interest of ensuring this is definitely higher, we're going to say that this is 100. Now, here's the big rule. If they have prepaid, so let's just say this person prepaid with a check. As a general rule, when it comes to adjusting reservations, if I edit this occurrence and I try to change this to meeting room, to a different location that has a lower cost, and I go to save changes, and then I try to save it, it's going to yell at me. And it's going to appropriately yell at me because the fees need to be, you need to refund first. So whenever you get to this, you kind of have to back out of what you've just done. Now you have to leave. I get to cheat because it was the reservation I just did, but just for you guys to know, you'll have to actually go and find it either on the calendar or by the member or wherever it was that you knew where the reservation existed. In order to get them switched, what I need to first do is refund this payment. And actually, let me do math real fast. So I need to issue a refund that is a partial amount of for $65 because the new location is only $35, but I paid $100. Now I'm going to actually go to the payment because a fun thing that a lot of people did not realize is from right here on the payment, anything that's blue underlined is going to take you to those areas. So if it's a program, it's going to take you to the roster. If it's a membership, it's going to take you to that membership's members list. If it's a reservation, it takes you right here. This is a quick way for me to hit that edit occurrence. Is it daycare? Change the location. And now I can save because now I don't have more funds that I'm trying to say needs to be collected on the invoice.
Great. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate you showing that. Could you give us an example of the updated buttons on a refund for a facility reservation while we're in the reservation tab here?
So if I cancel, the way that this piece was updated is if I cancel the entire reservation, it's going to guide me so that I can go to that invoice and decide what to do next. Some of you don't do refunds for reservations, or it's one of those super variable. It depends on the reason why the person is canceling their reservation in the first place. So this part of the process allows you to kind of go there and make that decision.
Great. Thank you, Jen. And this one is off topic, but while we have a moment here, it's something we can show. Could you show how we could add additional members to a membership that is already purchased?
Ah, yes. This is one of my favorite workflows to show everybody because at some point in time, it's going to happen. I usually make this joke. The parent signs just themselves up for the membership. What you want to do is first on your members list for that membership, find them. They're going to be listed as primary. This is important. Find the primary person in the household if you can. If you're not 100% certain, that's okay. You can hit view edit from the person that you do know. Then click edit, add new member. And in this dropdown, you'll see the additional household members that you have the ability to add in. Oh, that one was already connected. And then you hit save. They cannot make this update, by the way. This is something they have to tell you that they made a boo-boo, and then you guys just need to do that. They should have at least added all of the profiles for the children into their household, though, so that those are the only steps. If they don't have anybody in their household, I do recommend that you make them pause for a moment and add those people to the household so that it's their accountability for saying how old their spouses, their date of birth for their children, things along those lines.
Awesome. Thank you, Jen. And now going back to point of sale, you may have shown this already, but I think it might be a good thing to show again if you did. Card return and point of sale.
Credit card refund?
Yep. Honestly, I just wanted to make you enter in a fake credit card again.
I'm not entering it again. Andrew is mean, everyone. It is very hard entering a fake credit card number because you have to actually get the right number of ones in it or it messes up.
There's a lot of counting involved.
This one also already has a refund to it, but what you would do is you would find the payment outside of point of sale. So this cannot be completed by a point of sale shift manager. It needs to be completed by somebody who's an assistant director or a director. They're going to be able to come here to the original payment and do the normal issue refund. You know what? We're going to avoid this because it's not a credit card anyways. You're going to go right here, select credit card to refund it, post the amount. As a reminder while I'm here, again, I love to remind everybody about this. You cannot do same-day partial refunds. The processor will treat it as a void. And then hit process now. Then go back to the payment because on the payment, you have the refunds tab. What we're going to do now is on this refund under refund type, I'm going to copy this whole amount. Then I'm going to void this refund. And I'm going to write here that it's a CC refund and point of sale, just so that if somebody in the higher up ever needs us to pull a void report, we know quickly why you did that. Then we can go into point of sale actions, and process this as a return. Select the item. If it's multiple items, because it's more than, full value, make sure you add everything in and click on continue. Select credit card. Point of sale is always manual. Manual means that you went into the processor to do the refund, or you completed the steps that I just stated. So right here now, I have the reference number, and because this one is a real number, I can copy this and move it here, and then click on continue and process now.
Great. Thank you, Jen. Appreciate you showing that. All right, everybody, that is going to go ahead and complete our new material for today. We'd like to go ahead and thank you all for joining us. Jen and I will stick around for another minute or two in case any other questions pop up. But like I said, that is all of our new material today. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy Wednesdays to be here with us. And we're excited that you guys will be using these grades and simple refunds coming up here.
And you know
Oh,
what? As we're ending this, I was going to say, as we're ending this, let me also do a quick reminder. We already went over the support center, but please remember that under resources, we do have quick links to PowerUp videos. I try my best to get them up by the next morning. So it won't likely be this afternoon. Sorry, y'all. But it'll be tomorrow morning that I get this uploaded. We also have helpful workflows with small videos you can always reference back to. So any of you with credit card refunds on point of sale, there's always this nice short video that you can reference at any point in time. And for those of you who are new to RecDesk, if you are helping build, meaning adding new programs, new memberships, things like that, please take our training for RecDesk Builder. Pretty much gives you a great overview of the system. And then we always make sure to reach out afterwards because we understand you're a new employee. You're going to have questions that are more specific to your organization. But once you get that overview training, then you're going to have specific questions for your needs, and we can go over that. This is also where the content management training videos live. And then we have front desk user training videos. So if you have any new employees, and this is the only type of actions that you want them to complete in RecDesk, they can take all of these training videos, and you don't necessarily need to train them one by one unless you happen to have a unique workflow that you would like to teach outside of this.
yes, great point. Thank you so much, Jen, for pointing that out.
All right. I think we hit the end of the line here for all the information. If anybody else has any other questions, you guys can reach out to us at support, and we'd love to help you out more. Otherwise, I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Have a great Wednesday, everybody. Take care.